Hi everybody, it's me. It's been a while, but hooray, I'm back. It is August the 22nd. Can't believe where the summer's gone. Sorry about the glare. I'm sitting by my window and it's sunny. I've had a few days of it not being so sunny. I'm really pleased that it is sunny now. I have drawn the blind, so I'm sorry I'm a bit overexposed, but anyway, it hides the wrinkles, so that's okay. So what would I like to talk to you about today? Well, I thought I would share a little experience from yesterday that happened. I was sitting here at my desk and there was an almighty crash, an earth-shuddering crash. And the building next door is a pub which has recently been sold and is being renovated. And I thought, oh my God, the roof has fallen down. You know, it was massive. Gosh, I hope the workmen are okay. And then I went, oh, it's a car crash. I live on a main road, a very, very busy road behind a high wall, which gives me some protection. And my landlady had just been in to say that she was going out. And of course, I suddenly thought, oh my God, it's my friend, my landlady, she's my friend. And heart in my mouth, raced outside, just scared about what I was going to see. And sure enough, it was a crash, but it wasn't to do with my friend. So, you know, number one, thank goodness for that. And some other people were already stopping, and the one lady was very cross because this guy whose car it was had been tailgating her really badly for quite a distance, and she'd only just pulled in further down the hill at a lay-by to let him past. And there was a couple of young women who stopped to say, God, we saw that he'd been driving really, really erratically. And actually what has happened was that he had driven across the traffic. So it's 3 lanes, it's a 3-lane road, crashed into our wall outside the front of our house and into a lamppost. So nobody else was hurt, which was great. And then, of course, we look with great trepidation into the car, and he was sitting there looking really spaced out. Well, I would be if it had happened to me, but he got out and he was okay, but he was clearly not right. And then we noticed that he had a tag around his ankle. So he's, I don't know what you call it, on probation, was it? He was on probation. And then he got back in the car and started to try and hide needles and drugs. At which point I got through to the ambulance service, who spoke me through what to do. And we agreed that probably the police needed to come as well. And to cut a long story short, that's what happened. Not just the police, 2 fire engines, an ambulance, a paramedic car, and then the police. At which point I came home. You know, I wasn't needed at all. There were plenty of other people who had actually seen what was going on. My landlord and landlady, my neighbours, were there sorting things out as well. But it was experiences like that are a little bit unsettling. You know, we trundle along in our daily lives, in our safe little worlds, don't we, where we expect what we expect. We tend not to expect the unexpected. When the unexpected happens, it's very unsettling. And all the emotions come up and they have to go somewhere. Now, the woman who he'd been tailgating had young children in her car, and she was really angry because she felt that she had been put in considerable danger. So I really understand that. The young women who had seen him swerving were mostly worried and wanted to do the right thing. My landlord and landlady were really fed up because of their wall. You know, it's a huge, beautiful old stone wall, which is going to cost a lot of money to get fixed. He'd stolen the car, no insurance. Police came and arrested him and took him off. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt. So what do I want to talk about regarding this experience? I mean, there's a lot to be said, isn't there? If we can step back from the drama, if we can step back from the trauma, and then we can look at what's going on inside our heads when these situations arise. And what I want to talk about actually is judgment. So I was reflecting with my friend, and we both jumped into empathy. Now, if he had caused serious hurt to anybody else, I probably wouldn't have been able to jump into empathy for this man. But because he hadn't, and you know, it's okay, and yes, it was a nuisance, and yes, it was dangerous, empathy came forward fairly quickly. None of us wake up in the morning on a happy day and say, do you know what? I'm going to try heroin today. Doesn't happen. None of us become addicts overnight. And there are many, many addictions out there, and we're all addicted to something. And you may be sitting there thinking, no, I'm not addicted to anything. I'm just going to remind you about coffee, about scrolling through our media, being addicted to gossip, being addicted to hearing the bad news. You know, got to put the news on, got to get my fix of doom and gloom. You know, oh, juicy gossip, what's this famous person doing? Did I say coffee? Sugar, comfort food. We're addicted to our habits. We become absolutely addicted to our habits, and they may be good habits. They may be, well, every Sunday we, like my parents, we have a roast dinner. That's addictive behavior that is deeply ingrained. And my dad in particular, bless him, he's 90, doesn't want to come out on a Sunday because it's roast dinner at lunchtime. And they have to, we do as a family work around it if we can. I mean, he doesn't make a big fuss if we do have to do something else, but you know, it's to be considered. We become very quickly addicted to the hormones that our brain releases around a particular emotion. It's highly addictive. We become addicted to adrenaline junkies. We've all heard that phrase. But also we become addicted to depression, excitement, all kinds of things. You know, have you heard the phrase, better the devil you know? I know I've worked really hard. I've done a lot of inner work on releasing myself from the victim feeling. Okay, and it sounds a bit odd. Well, nobody wants to have that feeling in them, but when you get to a place where you're feeling really low and nothing's going right, it can be, and it certainly was for me on occasions, here it comes, this well of heaviness. I knew it. I knew it was coming. I can't do anything about it, and here I am, and poor me, and I'm really stuck in it, and nobody understands, and I can't do anything about it. And there was something very addictive about that complete sense of like really low. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying people purposefully become depressed. I know there's a million and one things. I'm just offering this as a personal reflection on how I've experienced the feelings in the body, which come from the chemical release in the brain, the emotion, which come from the thoughts behind it. So prediction is really interesting. And in the Bible, Jesus said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. And so it would be so easy for us, and it is easy for us, to look at the man who crashed into the wall, who nearly caused a nasty accident, who was high on heroin, who had one of those tags on his ankle, clearly had a lot of history. I say, what a moron, what an idiot, what a selfish man, what a stupid man. How could he do that? And in the judgment, what we're doing is we're making ourselves feel better about ourselves. I would never do that, is the underlying emotion behind that. You'd never catch me doing that. You have to be really stupid to do that, meaning I'm not stupid. Okay, so bringing all of these processes higher up into consciousness is really empowering for us and really freeing, because we're also freeing ourselves from the energy, the addictive energy of judgment. Okay, if we judge others, it means that we are unhappy about ourselves, and in actual fact, dig a little deeper, we're probably highly judgmental of ourselves. Those of you who know me, you'll have heard me say this before. We have the inner dialogue for ourselves, which is far harsher, far more unpleasant than we would ever let anybody else speak to us. You know, the words we say inside our heads. So by jumping into judgment, casting those stones, we're actually placating our inner judge. So we're turning it from I'm really stupid to ha, he's more stupid than I am. Okay. A little bit for us to think about there. So I was able to jump into empathy at that point. And I'm not saying that I would do it every time, or that if the situation had been different, that I would have been able to feel some empathy towards him. But I got quite close. I saw his face. You know, I looked at his eyes and I stepped away because the energy was not pleasant. Right? The energy was not pleasant. Who in their life wants to be in that situation? He didn't want to be in that situation. He didn't wake up this morning and go, do you know what? I'm going to dig myself into an even deeper hole than I'm already in. I'm going to fuck myself over even more than I've already fucked myself over in this life. No, it just happened that way because. So what I'd like you to just have a little think about is, well, I wonder what his childhood was like. You know, what happened in his childhood to send him down the road? This is the world, this is the place of free will. Many people who have terrible experiences do not become addicts. Okay, they do not become junkies. They do not, if they've been abused, they are able to not pass the abuse on to their children. And that takes an amazingly strong person. So for those of you who've grown up in really challenging circumstances and you've not passed it on, then that's massive honor to you. But I wonder what my life would be like if I'd grown up in a horrendous home. So I'm not going to judge. I see that man suffering. So I'm not going to cast the first stone, at least not on this occasion, because it didn't really affect me. So it was really easy for me to move into empathy. And in fact, I just sent him love and light because his journey is a hard one. Okay, not putting myself up above anybody because, like I said, on a different day, different circumstances, don't get me wrong, I'd be right up there flinging the stones with the best of them. Okay. So that's a little bit of thinking, a little bit of sparking of inner dialogue that perhaps you would like to have with yourself around where you stand, without judgment about these kind of situations. But I would also like to expand the conversation slightly, because with the work that I do, I often pick up something called a saboteur energy. Okay. And so there's this metaphorical idea of throwing stones. Okay, and it's it was a very real, and it still is a very real and horrendous way of hurting people and executing people. But when we throw a judgment, we are casting energy. And sometimes that energy hits its target, moves in through the aura, and sticks in the body of the person who we have been casting negative energy at. It may be a judgment, it's usually a judgment, or it may just be a thought or a feeling. For example, a really easy one, going back to traffic. Somebody cuts you up and you get cross and you say, you so-and-so, and you've cast an energy at them. Well, if their energetic shields are down, or they're very empathic, that energy that you sent at them can actually physically move into their body and stick in their body. And over days and weeks and months and years that we carry them, it can actually cause imbalance. So we can do it unwittingly, and we can pick them up and we don't even know. Some stranger in the street looks at you and goes, you know, has a judgmental thought about you. Maybe they're having a really bad day. Maybe they're really angry. We don't know. You haven't done anything. You've picked it up. Boom. It's in you and it's causing imbalance. Other times, of course, we know we're in an argument with somebody, or we really dislike somebody, or somebody really dislikes us, or we've been hurt, or they've hurt us. And we're casting these stones a lot, these energetic stones. Be aware, guys, that when you send negative thoughts out at people as an attack, it may well be hitting home. You may think they don't know, they may not consciously know. You may think you're just letting off your anger and it's not harming anybody, but it is. Be careful with your thoughts, be careful where you send your thoughts, be careful with your energy field. If you have an intuition about a bad feeling, somebody's sending, oh, that person doesn't like me, or gosh, you know, I suddenly feel really attacked, probably are being. Okay, don't just pass it off as, ah, that's stupid, you know, logic it away. No, you've probably picked up a saboteur energy which needs to be cleared, and we can clear those. It's quite straightforward and it's really powerful to do, really helpful to do. But we can also, just to protect yourselves, imagine that you are in your aura, and that you can bring up a shield. Imagine that you have a shield around your aura that is protective, and it will be so. Also, you can zip up your aura just by bringing your hand, and it's like you zip it up and it closes it for you. Really interesting. We can muscle test quite clearly on this. Cell phones open up your energy shield, drops it down. So really important to always to keep remembering to zip up your aura, to close up your aura, guys, to protect yourself from these random energies that are being flung around. Somebody might be throwing an energy stone at somebody across the street and you walk in the way of it. Boom, you've picked it up. All right, these are real things, can be cleared, but it's great to be aware, to be conscious, and to keep yourself safe from them, as well as keeping yourself safe from throwing these energetic weapons. It's really interesting. We can muscle test when I'm clearing saboteur energies. Sometimes they actually are in the shape of a dagger or a stone or a bullet. You know, they're really metaphorically, we can discover what subconsciously your body is feeling like it is, and then we can clear it and do the healing around the space. So, judgment, really interesting, really interesting. Okay, my lovelies, I think that's all for now. Lovely to see you. Please do share my videos if you like them. I need to dust off my little YouTube channel. I'll post this on Facebook, and it's probably too long for Instagram. I'll give it a go. I've got to learn. Anyway, much love, many blessings to you all. Take care.